Most contractors who can't figure out why they're stuck are making the same mistake. Business slows down, leads dry up, the calendar starts looking thin, and instead of fixing the actual problem, they invest in their brand. New logo, better website, truck wraps, maybe a professional photo shoot. And I get it. It feels like the right move because you can see it. You can point to something tangible and say, we're building something real here. The problem is that none of those things really make your phone ring. I'm Spencer Wright, and after generating north of $100 million in closed jobs for home service contractors, I can tell you the most common thing that I see for the guys who are stuck is not that they have a bad product or a bad reputation. It's that they've been sold the idea that looking like a great contractor is the same thing as being one that homeowners actually trust. And it's not. And in this video, I'm going to show you exactly what the difference is, why branding agencies will never tell you this, and what you should actually be building first if closing more jobs is the goal. You see, the branding industry has done a really effective job of selling contractors something that looks like a solution but doesn't make the phone ring. Here's exactly how it happens. When business slows down and you're trying to figure it out what to do, a branding agency walks in and shows you something you can actually see. Here's a new logo. Here's what your trucks are going to look like. Here's a new website. Here's a mood board for your social media. And now you can show your wife that at night. You can point to it and say, look, we're building something. But now compare that to someone showing you a dashboard full of attribution data, conversion funnels, and cost per lead numbers. Branding is the sexy thing that wins that conversation every single time, not because it's the smarter investment, but because it's the feels tangible thing. And the agencies selling that know it. They lean into that hard. But here's what nobody in that room is actually talking about. Visibility and revenue are not the same thing. Let me give you a real example. There's a contractor named Mike Hagan. He's been in business for over 20 years, running a solid operation doing decks and other exteriors. Business slowed down like it does, and he did what most guys do. He reinvested into looking more legitimate. New website, blog content, SEO, and paying a monthly agency retainer with no results. Month after month, just getting reports saying that rankings are going from yellow to red and just give it more time. And after months and months of all of that, he got 2 leads total. And those didn't even come from the agency. They came from the Better Business Bureau. Meanwhile, his wife is spending her time correcting the agency's work, fixing photos, rewriting copy, and chasing them to do what they were paid to do. That is the branding trap. You pay to look like a contractor people can trust, while the system behind it does nothing to actually create and capture demand. And until you can see the difference in real numbers, you'll keep making that same call over and over again, and it's just the wrong investment. And here's the part that the branding industry will never put in their pitch deck. There is almost zero accountability when you sell brand awareness. Think about what happens when they come back next month with a report showing you 50,000 impressions, 10,000 reach, 300 new followers. What are you going to say? What does any of that actually mean for my business? Because anyone can pay a platform $5 to show your content to thousands of people. And so they play on your ego. They sell you what you think you want, which is more impressions, more reach, more likes. But likes aren't leads, and leads are what lead to business growth. Anyone can pay $5 and deliver your content to thousands of people, where you're going to get a ton of impressions in a market that will never hire you. But they'll sell on those vanity metrics, and they're so easy to sell. Let me show you what this looks like in real life. There's another contractor, Mike Holst, family business, strong closer, 50% close rate when he actually gets to the door. But the problem, he could barely get in front of anyone. After spending $27,000 on an SEO agency, he got 10 appointments and he couldn't tie a single closed job back to any of their efforts. And when he got their reports month after month, it was just always, we got you this many impressions, we got you this much reach, your rankings look great. All of the numbers, all of the vanity, but nothing in the bank. He told me at one point he was checking his phone even while paying them $3,000 a month, just to make sure his phone wasn't broken. And think about that, a contractor ready to scale, crews ready to go, wondering if his phone is the problem. That is what no accountability looks like. And here's how I would think about it. If you're getting leads that don't convert, you can have a real conversation about that. But if someone sells you impressions, you don't even know what questions to ask. And that's not an accident. It is by design. The metrics dominating every report you've ever seen are designed to feel like progress without being accountable to the only number that matters. And I will show you that number in a second. But first, you need to understand this distinction. The difference between intent and impressions is the difference between a calendar that's full and an empty one. An impression is someone scrolling past your ad while they're looking at memes. Intent is someone who stops, clicks, leaves the platform, goes through a survey, and gives you their information because they actually have a project. Those are not the same person, not even close. Let me break this down with another real example. I was on a call with a client, Eric, reviewing his numbers for the quarter. We spent about $60,000 in ads in the first quarter. That generated over $1 million in closed revenue. Now, here's what that gets interesting. There was one ad, looked terrible on the surface. Cost per lead was 4 times higher than everything else. Most agencies would kill it immediately. But when we tracked it all the way through, that one ad produced multiple high ticket deals that paid for everything. That's the difference. If you're optimizing for impressions or cost per lead, you'll kill the thing that's actually making you money. If you're tracking intent all the way through to revenue, you scale what works, and that is the game. If you're watching this and realizing your marketing dollars have been going toward the wrong things, impressions, reach, any vanity metric that looks good in a report but doesn't fill your calendar and fill up your pipeline with jobs, that is exactly the problem I saw for home service contractors. I build end-to-end lead generation appointment systems that generate exclusive high intent leads, manufacturing trust before the sales call, and get your phone ringing within the first 24 to 48 hours of going online. That's how fast it works. So if you want to see if your business is a fit, the link is below. Apply to work with me, and let's figure out what it would actually take to get your calendar full and keep it that way. All right, so most contractors are measuring their marketing by the wrong numbers: impressions, reach, click-through rate, cost per click, followers, traffic, you name it. And here's the truth. None of those answer the only question that matters. What did I spend and what did I get back? A click is not a lead is not an appointment is not a closed job, and a closed job is not profit. Every step has a conversion rate. If you don't know yours, you're flying blind. But the moment you start tracking all of those different conversion points, everything changes because now it's just math. Now you know what a lead is worth, you know what you could spend to get one, and suddenly that agency report full of impressions has nowhere to hide. So if branding isn't the answer, what is? Every contractor knows referrals close differently. They're easier, faster, less price sensitive. And most guys think that's just because referrals are better people. But let me tell you a secret. They're not. It's just because trust was transferred to you by someone else. So the real question is, how do you create trust transfer at scale in cold traffic advertising? Let me show you what that looks like. There's a contractor named Justin Wiley, solid operator. He was stuck around $2 million a year. He was paying an agency year after year, getting a handful of leads per month. I mean, really just a great, healthy business, but he was capped. When we started working together, we shifted away from branding focused advertising and into a system that builds trust before the call. In his first month, we got him 160 new contacts, new leads exclusive to him, 90 appointments. But here's the part that matters the most. Those leads didn't just show up like strangers. They showed up more like referrals because before they ever booked, they saw content answering their biggest fears. What does this cost? How should I avoid getting burned? What should I look for in a good contractor? By the time they got on his calendar, they already had decided that they trusted him. Justin told me last week he ran 12 appointments and closed 11. That's not just sales skill. That's trust already being built before the appointment. And that's the only thing that actually closes a job. So branding tells people you exist, but the right system captures that attention, converts that attention into contact information, and actually builds trust before the appointment. When you do that systematically, you can scale your business rapidly because you're tapping into the largest slice of your market, which is cold traffic, and you're converting that attention into leads, appointments, and sales month after month. All right, so here's where we are. Branding doesn't close jobs. Impressions don't pay for your crews. The contractors who are actually scaling aren't the ones with the best looking logo. They're the ones who figured out how to manufacture trust at scale. That is the whole game. And if this video helped you see your marketing differently, the next one is going to take it a step further. I put together a video breaking down exactly what's actually working in contractor marketing right now because the old playbook is broken and most contractors are still running it. The link is here. Go watch that next. And if you're not subscribed yet, hit that button below. I put out new contractor marketing videos every single week, breaking down exactly what's working right now, what isn't, and how to build a business that does not depend on referrals or hope to keep the calendar full. I'll see you on the next one. Cheers.